Alright, folks, I'm the host of Dynamite Trip, and today on Comic Fever, I come to you with a new story. Well, I come to you with another review, and in this review, we're doing X-Men Blue. X-Men Blue number 8. So let's get into it. First, we've got the non-spoiler review. We've got writer Colin Bunn, artists Corey Smith, and Joey Vasquez. Inker is Terry Palat. Colorist is Matt Mia or Milla, however you want to pronounce it. Letterer is VC's Joe Cartamagna. Uh, Cover artists are Arthur Adams and Peter Steigerwald. Uh, with the dazzling cover art done by Arthur Adams and Peter Steigerwald, X-Men Blue is a glorious book of art. Number 8 is a glorious book of art. Great writing, a little disjointed considering it is starting a different story arc, but continuing in numbers. And the more I think about it, it's really not all that disjointed because if you read the last page of the last book, it actually says the end. So I guess you could say it's the end of that storyline, and it's beginning a new one. Just how it concludes so quickly is kind of odd. The X-Men Blue series has been action-packed, and this book definitely doesn't disappoint. Especially the way, with each new character, a new introduction is given, power sets and all, which is nice. I mean, that's the part I really like about this book is it doesn't go on and then just expect you to know who the characters are in the book. It actually tells you, um, and it gets a little monotonous with the way it repeats a lot of characters that you should be familiar with. Uh, to give an example, like the current X-Men Blue team, you should know who they are, but it's nice that they're kind of reintroduced in every um, story, so then that way, you know, in case you, for whatever reason, don't remember or whatever, you can, it'll, there'll be a page where it'll say, oh, by the way, that's Angel, or oh, by the way, that's Beast. I will say the only downs I have about this book is, well, like I said, it can get monotonous. But the other down I have is it doesn't have all the team members that I would like to see. Like, for instance, it has Beast, but it kind of has the younger boy Beast rather than the the male Beast. Um, anyway, oh, and overall art is spectacular, especially the cover um, is beautifully done. Um, by Arthur Adams and Peter Steigerwald. They did an excellent job with Emma Frost. looking almost like she's completely transformed into diamonds. So they did a great job with that. Anyway, all right, folks, that has been my non-spoiler review. I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe uh, and please comment. I enjoy commenting, and I really do try to um, get back to as many comments as I can. Um, but without further ado, oh, and for all you that are probably leaving this part, I say I'll see you on the other side. Now, for those of you who have who are still on this journey with me, welcome. I'm glad you stayed. But here we are, X-Men Blue, the spoiler review. Okay, so up first we've got cast of characters: Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Scott Summers, Angel, Warren Worthington, Beast, Hank McCoy, Iceman, Bobby Drake, and the man who has no uh, nickname as of yet, or code name as of yet, Jimmy Hudson. Okay, so we open the story in the forest where the X-Men lost their first battle. Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl, makes a psychic bubble and blasts the rubble that she and Jimmy Hudson are left buried in. Jean Grey asks Jimmy Hudson, "Are you okay? You took the brunt of Haddock's attack even more than my TK shields took. Is your healing factor?" Jimmy Hudson hunched over, scars ravaging his body. He says, "Give me a minute." The next page, Jimmy heals, Marvel Girl watching over him. Then Jimmy says, "Sorry, yeah, I'm good." Jean says, "They took everyone else. Probably would have gotten us too if I hadn't telepathically masked our presence." Jimmy Hudson says, "Good, so maybe they won't be expecting us when we come knocking." Jean Grey says, "Let's hope not. Surprise is the only thing going for us now. First things first, we need to figure out where they took the X-Men, and how are we going to get there?" A voice can be saying, Your transportation has already been arranged, Marvel Girl." The next page, we learn that the voice is from none other than the Blackbird. The Blackbird says, "I have been tracking the X-Men since they were abducted. Let's go get them back." Stunned Jimmy Hudson and Jean Grey looking up at the Blackbird. They finally break the silence and say in sync, "Did our plane just talk to us?" The next page, we transition to Utopia, capital of New Tian. We are the X-Men. Where, where are the X-Men? Scott Summers, Cyclops screams, his hand to his visor, but nothing. Then, still trying to make his eye beam shoot, he says, "My eye beams. Why aren't they?" Emma Frost says, "Ooh, you're a feisty one, aren't you? I like that." Emma, her hand on Cyclops' shoulder, she says, "I can't have you blasting away at the home I've made, now can I? After all, this could be your home too, if you let it." Scott then asks the X-Men. Emma says, "Oh, for pity's sake. Your little friends are just fine. Most of them, anyway." The next page, most of them? Scott asks. Emma retorts, "What did you expect? You're so busy playing Rebel versus Empire, you forget that sometimes the Rebel dies. Sometimes even the best of them. And sometimes, my dear boy, the Empire is right. Mutants have a place in the world now. Mutants are safe here. Scott says, first of all, I don't believe my teammates are dead. A close-up of Cyclops then, he says, and second of all, if you expect me to believe you're looking out for the best interest of anyone other than yourself, you're more insane than I thought. Emma, a hand up, looking scorned. Scott, love, don't say that. It hurts. And you know I hate it when we fight. Scott, a confused look on his face. Wait, who do you think I am? The next page, Emma Frost, her eyes glowing with power, says, when I'm through, you'll be here, whoever I want you to be. Scott, holding his head, screams, nah. Emma Frost says, I know it's painful. I'm sorry for that. Emma Frost, standing over Cyclops, says, I prefer you didn't struggle. That will only make this hurt. Cyclops says, no, get out of my head. I won't let you use me like you used him. Emma, standing, looks down and says, it's temporary, a stopgap measure in time. You'll come to see things my way on your own. And then you'll be free. The corner of the page reads, you think the others are alright? The next page, Iceman, Angel, Beast, sitting in a cell. Iceman says, Scott and Jean and Jimmy, even Briar, what do you think happened to them? Beast says, I'm not sure, Bobby. Angel says, you're a junior sorcerer, Hank. Can't you work some spell to get out of here? Beast replies, no, I'm afraid these power damners prohibit spellcraft too. Iceman says, well, aren't we just the most worthless X-Men ever? Angel says, don't say that. They took us by surprise. Some of those mutants had extra powers, a secondary mutation. Iceman says, yeah, what was that all about? Iceman the Beast, what about it, Big Brain? Any theories about these weird mutant powers? Toad had a flaming tongue. Beast answers, I don't know. The next page, still in the cell, Angel says, we'll be okay. Someone will come looking for us. Magneto will come looking for us. Iceman asks, you don't really believe that, do you, Warren? Iceman continues, he is not going to stick his head out of the sand for us. If that was a possibility, don't you think he would have done so by now? He's just sitting there, sitting back, letting Hydra and the White Queen and whoever else take over the world. Iceman goes on. Face it, Flyboy, everybody has priorities. And that means sometimes they prioritize relationships too. And sometimes you just don't rank. Angel says, Hank, you want to help me out here? What are you doing? What are you looking at? Beast, his face a look of being somewhere far off. I'm thinking, mentally cataloging all the meanest spells I know. Because when we get loose, I'm casting every one of them on the people who put us here. The bottom corner of the page reads, I trust you to find the accommodations comfortable. The next page, Havoc and Briar Raleigh in a cell made to look like a swanky hotel suite. Havoc says, if there's anything else you need, just ask. Briar, standing in a robe drying her hair, responds, water pressure in the shower could be turned up a notch or 10. I wouldn't mind something to eat. Maybe a bottle of Hakushu single malt. And I'd love to know what angle you think you're playing. Havoc shocked. Angle? I don't know what you're talking about. Raleigh, are you going to tell me that Raleigh says, are you going to tell me that the X-Men were also placed in quarters this lavish? You think I believe that your other human prisoners are treated so well? Sebastian Shaw said, Havoc says, Sebastian Shaw said you were a member of the Hellfire Club. As such, he thought you deserved preferential treatment. Briar retorts, oh please, Shaw couldn't care less about my comfort. Neither could you. Raleigh tapping a finger to her head. You want something, and my guess is the White Queen is to come too scared to come and take it from me. Too busy to come and take it from me. Either that or she suspects, rightly so, I have enough black market CR wetware installed in the old noggin that it might fry Emma's synapses. The next page, still in the room, subtlety and subterfuge aren't your strong suits, Havoc. Whatever you want, just spit it out. Havoc, looking serious, says, Magdino. Briar says, what about him? Last I heard, he was dead. Havoc says, we both know that's not true. We know he's been running with the young X-Men, that he set up shop in Madripoor, but now he's gone into hiding, and I'm guessing you're the only person who knows where he is. Briar says, and you think a few amenities will get me to flip on him? Darling, you really know nothing about me. You want to skip ahead to torture? Because that'll be fun. Anyway, if Magneto is alive, the next page we transition to Annamite Mountains, Vietnam. In the corner, the thought from the previous page is finished. Don't you think you'll be hearing from him soon enough? It's Magneto and his robot butler Ferris. Ferris says, I'm afraid we've lost contact with Ms. Raleigh. The safe house she was using has been compromised. Everyone other than Miss Gray and Mr. Hudson has been apprehended. Magneto takes a drink of something and says, Ferris says, if you don't mind me saying so, sir, you seem unconcerned. Magneto putting his cup down and says, quite the contrary, Ferris. I'm just considering my options. Magneto opens a box. Ferris says, should I prepare your uniform and helmet, sir? Magneto, that won't be necessary. I made a promise that I would stay out of the affairs of Hydra's America and New Time. The next page, still on the mount, Magneto opening the box to reveal the head of Red Skull and says, and I plan on honoring the terms of the agreement. Magneto closes the box. First says, and the X-Men? Magneto says, they are young, but resourceful and powerful. I chose them for such an engagement. First says, once again, sir, I must say you are acting in an easygoing attitude than is normal. It's a bit unsettling. Have you been sampling some of the anti-anxiety medication in the medical bay? Magneto replies, don't worry, my friend, I haven't changed as much as it would appear. Although I promise not to interfere personally, doesn't mean I can't help the X-Men in other ways. The next page, Blackbird, flying to its location, Magneto's thought finished in a thought box. I have arranged for them to have the help they need when the time arrives. Jimmy coming to the front of the plane after checking things in the back. Jean Grey talks to the plane. Hello? Are you there? Hey, Blackbird. Blackbird responds, I am not a personal assistant software. Treat me as such and I'll eject you. Jean says, alright, yeah, sorry. But maybe you can tell us where you're taking us. Jimmy Hudson sitting down in the pilot's chair next to Gene. Jimmy says, I'd say it's pretty obvious. Obvious. We're going to rescue our teammates. Gene says, just the two of us? Blackbird replies, once we have liberated the X-Men, it will be the six of you. And me, of course. Jean Grey says, well, alright then. Let's get our boys home. The next page, Blackbird enters into Utopia, New Tian capital. Jean says, excellent, we've made it. The Blackbird ejects Gem and Jean. Jean says, I tried to do a mental scan, but the whole place is a dead zone. The White Queen has thrown over a psychic interference over the place. Jimmy Hudson says, I'll do what I can to sniff them out. If I can't smell the rest, I know I'll be able to sniff out Angel's expensive hair gel. As they hit the ground, Jimmy says, but it looks like we're going to have to fight our way through some hellfire flunkies. He says, well, while in the middle of battle with some of the flunkies, says, try not to kill anyone, alright? Jimmy responds, do me a favor. Stop comparing me to this guy you say is my dad. Well, I don't remember him. Besides, I'm doing my best to be my own man. The next page, Firestar flies in. Seeing the X-Men fighting, she says, Jean, and whoever you are, Wolverine, Jacket, this isn't going to end well. Stop fighting and we can talk this out. Wolfbane enters the fray and says, listen to her. If you insist on fighting, we'll be forced to hurt you. Then another, Meryl, joins the fight and says, save your breath, man. X-Men are notoriously hard-headed. Wolfsbane, multiplying, says, I know. Mara says, fighting Jimmy Olsen, face it. Best to surrender now. You're outclassed and outnumbered. Not close up for Firestar, she says. I wouldn't be so sure. The next page, all of a sudden the sky fills with X-Men. Only instead of the X-Men blue, it's members of the older team. Jean says it's the X-Men. Standing behind Gambit, Jimmy Hudson says, where did they come from? They don't have a scent. Jean says, no thoughts either. They're not real. They're illusions. The Blackbird responds, yes. Perhaps instead of standing around you, you should use this moment to slip past the guards. The Blackbird begins to morph. Jean says, all this time, the Blackbird, you were... The next page, the Blackbird has morphed into a woman, going by the name Danger. And she says, go now, save your friends. She says as she joins the other illusionary X-Men, if it helps, consider this a training exercise. Jimmy says to Jean, watching Danger beat on guards, your plane just turned into a woman and started beating people up. Jean says, I hate to say it, but don't think that'll be the weirdest thing we'll see today. Come on, start sniffing out our teammates, she says to Jimmy. The next page, Jimmy and Jean entering into the Capitol building of New Tian. As they enter, they meet up with Havoc, who says, I'm sorry, Jeannie, but I am afraid I can't let you go. I can't let you do that. I need you to stand down. And if you don't, I'll make sure to finish you off. Jimmy says to Jean, find the others. I got this. Claws unsheathed. I'll hold him off. All of a sudden, the side of the building explodes, and a woman in green says, hey, Alex, no time, no see. I hate to say it, but this is going to be a painful review. The woman in green is none other than Polaris, daughter of Magneto. Anyway, folks, I am your host, the Dynamite Grip. This has been the non-spoiler review. And this has been the spoiler review and non-spoiler review of X-Men Blue #8. As I say at the end of all my videos, please subscribe, comment, and I'll see you on the other side.